Hello. This is take 2. About 90 minutes ago, around 5:30, I woke up and I started a video in the dark, right? So my face was lit because the computer screen, right? And I poured my heart and my soul, as I do, because I give with my whole heart. What is it? What is my thing? I give with my whole heart so others can show up as their true selves, loved without limits. As your host of Unapologetically Yours. So, I am going to test something right now. I'm going to click out of here, which is what I did by accident. It's still going. Okay, well, an hour of content was erased. It included my daughter waking up and cuddling with me and me reciting poetry. So now I get to be outside and do this, which is quite nice. It's beautiful. Wow. The side of my house is not as sightly as the clouds in the sky. Do you guys want to see? I wonder if you can. Alright, so this is my tree canopy, and I'm doing it upside down. Can you see the clouds? It'd probably be better if I did the other way. Alright. Let's see. There we go. I don't know if you can, I'm shaking ooh, see the birds? I don't know if y'all can see the birds. Oh, wow. They just flew overhead and it looked like a rainbow. So this, I believe the title of this will be something like Insecurities and Inspiration, or Insecurities Lead to Inspiration. But I'm just gonna soak in this moment. Okay. I live in tank tops, if y'all couldn't tell. Anyway. So, I'm just gonna try to dive into this thing. So I found an old, what do you call it? Site. I found an old handle of mine that I haven't seen in some years, called Poetry Writer, but that's RIGHTER, and because I write it, it's a little non-sexual double entendre. So I started looking at some of the poems and I was like, ooh, I like that. And so I had a bio as well. And the bio, it was pretty cool to see this since I just started this Unapologetic podcast, right? This year in July. And this was written and expressed by me in 2020. So it's a theme that's been around for a while. So vulnerably, I endeavor to feed my soul, pour into others, express thought unapologetically, exceptionally, just the way my maker made me. And one of the poems, I'm very nervous, y'all. First of all, like my eyebrows, are not, kempt. They are not on fleek. I've got, I'm 48. I've got, this, which may go away. If I were to lose weight, that is it's adjacent to some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about. It's not necessarily the topic. Look, I've got this stuff going on, and My tank top has a stain. You can't see it, thankfully. My hair is doing its thing. But I love my hair. I love my hair. I love you, hair. Insecurities. Insecurities, putting yourself out there. That can... It could feel like it would backfire, right? If you read the comments, if you turn the comments on. Anyway, I was excited. Maybe that's not the right word. I was determined to be vulnerable 90 minutes ago. And I was, and the green light was on the whole time. And when I went to stop it after reciting one of multiple poems, I couldn't find the video and it was not there, and that was disappointing. But that determination remains, and I'm going to share because I want to help other people, and I want to pour into other people and model some things and invite you to give yourself the same permission that I have given myself to exist fully me, with all the quirks and, I definitely don't want to say idiosyncrasies. Can I make up a new word? Yes, of course I can, because I'm a poet. It's poetic license. Geniusyncrasies. Geniusyncrasies? Yeah, genius, like genius. So, prompts. Some of the poems that I've written were from prompts from other people. In the poetry world, on IG, Poets of IG, that I used to spend time looking at before I lost probably the password to my thing, or life. Life was lifing. Life was lifing. I lost my uncle. That was the last poem that I posted. It's a very special man. Uncle Bruce. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about too was the insecurities that were unleashed when I joined Clubhouse. So Clubhouse it was like an iPhone only app, and on it you could link, connect, collab with different people based on your industry of choice, or so they had all kinds of things, but I was there for the poetry. And I shared some poetry, got some encouragement, but I also listened to other people's poetry, and it shook me to my core because those people were so good. They were way better than me. Like, way. And I got caught up. I got swept under, like in a riptide, maybe. And I eventually, I logged out because it would give you like reminders, and eventually I deleted the app. Although there was a poem that exists. Maybe I can find it. Maybe I can search my brain. It was really good. It was so good. So good. So it's possible that it was like on an old phone or an old computer, but it was definitely around the Clubhouse time. Maybe my brain will give it back to me. It was so good. So I feel like I did this better in the other video, but it's okay. I'm still here. I'm still here on purpose, with a purpose. Let me just go ahead and read the stuff that I know I want to share instead of getting caught up in what I said before. So, I particularly liked this poem. It's called Mistakes, and it was prompted by these words: apologize or not. So this is what I wrote. I sharpen my pencil and remove its eraser. To err is a right I own. Now I just ad-libbed because the word and is not there. It's probably cleaner, better. The way that it was written originally. Let's try that again. Mistakes. I sharpen my pencil, remove its eraser. To err is a right I own. There we go. May 24th, 2020. So that's unapologetic. That's me saying, I'm going to take my pencil, I'm sharpening it because I've got something to say. And I'm removing the eraser because if I make a mistake, if I write crooked, wonky, misspell, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to show up fully me, flaws and all. And it is a right that I have to be here, to breathe. My heart is still beating. And I don't have to hide. I don't have to be ashamed for my mistakes. I will blankety blank, no, just a blank, make mistakes. I will make mistakes. And it's not even that it's on purpose, but I'm going to love myself. With the mistakes, I'm going to love the version of me that makes mistakes. And I'm not going to melt or dissolve or disappear and go into hiding the way that I did with Clubhouse. So anyway, I thought it was pretty powerful. Just a short little powerful poem. So another prompt was just the word cosmic, and I wrote this May 16th, 2020. And what I want you to know is that I can't grab this poem. No, here we go. So what I want you to know is that there was a visual. At some point, I'm going to study how to do these videos. I have said this before, where I can put something on the screen. I'm not doing that right now. But I want to tell you the formatting of the poem. So we've got the word cosmic all down vertically, the left column, right? And with each of the first letters, there is the word spelled out. So there's curiosity, openly, simultaneously, mesmerized, inspired, continuously. And then in the center are the words that go along, so like this full sentence or paragraph. And then on the right bottom corner, it says the word cosmic with an exclamation mark. So you're welcome for any of the visual people who wanted to see that in your mind's eye. And now I'm just going to read it. Okay. So curiosity got the best of me, openly, unabashedly awestruck, simultaneously surrendering to the vastness, mesmerized by untold depths, inspired by a sea of endless stars, continuously shining and steering the sails and hearts of mankind. Cosmic. I like it. So the other pieces that I want to share is I was this morning wondering to myself if the front door is opening. Hi, baby. What's that? Sure. She's watching something, and it's absolutely going to compete with this audio video. And I don't know how to blend things. Hi, sweetie. And now she wants to go back inside, but she can't open the door. I would be happy to open the door for you. All right, come with me on a ride with my computer, because I do not want to redo this. All right. Try not to flash you. Okay. There you go. Will you close the door, please? Thank you. Enjoy. All right, so eating disorder, that was something I talked about. And what had happened was I looked at this poem and the inspiration behind it, and I questioned whether or not what was going on with me was an eating disorder. It's undiagnosed. I didn't believe, there's the dinosaurs, y'all. I didn't believe that I had an eating disorder, but I considered having one on purpose. I would have gone for bulimia, except for the teeth rot thing, because I like my teeth. It did make me consider designing, creating some sort of like making a device to use to be successful with, and it was just too much. It was just too much. It was ridiculous. So I just didn't go there. Anorexia was not going to be for me because I like food too much. I'm sharing this again just to be vulnerable and to touch on topics that are, I don't know if it's necessarily taboo, but sometimes not discussed, or sometimes swept underneath a rug, put out to pasture, hidden, definitely shamed. And I want to break the stigma on as many things as possible, because I think talking about it, being real about it, being vulnerable about it is important. It sparks conversation, and those conversations make room for growth and healing and connection. So, okay. This one was written May 17th, 2020, and I dedicated the poem to the person who asked the question, JS Brown _poetry, and the question was, what are your vices? Then it's also dedicated to @poems and pixels, who answered it, which drew a response from me that ultimately led to this inspiration. Okay, so the title of the poem is Vice. What's yours? Emotional eating for sure, a relationship within itself. The food calls out to me for my mental health. Eat me, feel me, know me. I'll make the pain go away. And other little lies that my friend likes to say. In your mouth, sweet chaos. Oblivion is there. It feels so good going down, you forget how to care. Each morsel, oh, so tasty. From the salty to the sweet, my toes curl from the mouthgasm as I surrender to defeat. Eyes rolled back and moans emit, sublime, surreal, supreme. I do my little happy dance and swallow all my dreams. Buried deep within me are the talents that I hide. I dare not show the world these gifts. I fear the compromise. My who am I and who I am may not survive the fire's test. Instead, I cry, my inner child, and put it all to rest. I pick up the fork or spoon, whatever my heart's desire. I spear the meat or chocolate morsel and call my friend the liar. Tell me more, sweet, pretty falsehoods. I'm all yours and long to hear. Take advantage of my traumas. Please drown out all my fears. What shall I try next? Glazed croissants are my favorite. Although that tender center meat, filet mignon, oh, how I crave it. In my mouth such sweet delight, I can hardly stand it. Even though my stomach is full, my eyes and hands demand it. I demand it. I thank God every day for my exquisite palate. I'm grateful for all delicacies, from the strawberry to the shallot. Such intricate tastes I weave together, hoping to remain bonded forever. Shame me not, these choices made. Haven't you given rein to more? I've named a vice of mine. Pray tell, what is yours? Yeah. I found myself, one, being frustrated at my loud neighbors. That's not fair. It wasn't that loud. But I also obviously found myself getting emotional thinking about the words, you know? Sometimes stuff just flows out of me, and I love how it does. But to read it like all these years later, you know, and to still have the struggle of insecurity, certainly about my weight, already alluded to with my commentary. I was going to say there's so much pressure, and then I was going to say, I don't feel the pressure, but I'm crying. There's so much pressure for women. I'm a dissenter. I defy the odds. I defy the man. Gosh, there's so much. So, there's so much pressure to be beautiful, to be perfect, to be just so, to be demure, to be feminine. And femininity certainly is our birthright, and femininity has power, and this should not be something avoided, although some people avoid it because of splits, because of things that happened to them, done to them. And now I'm realizing that is maybe part of this conversation that I'll talk about. Advertisements are a lie, right? So the young people, I'm 48, the young people, I don't know, 30 and younger, were likely maybe not as impacted by the Dove campaign. Dove, the soap product, they did this stuff and they showed these women, models, and ultimately what it takes to create the billboard or the magazine picture that becomes the standard of beauty. And there's so much touch up to where that woman on the billboard does not exist. That's not real. Her neck has been elongated. Her cheeks have been, made, what's the word? Symmetrical. Like, we all have flaws, if you will. Maybe by design, because we're not meant to be perfect. Living this human experience. How I have been humbled. Oh gosh. I am laughing because at one point I said, if I could sing, I would be perfect. That gift was stripped from my throat. I'm an alto, but I long and yearn to be a soprano. I've got a good ear, and sometimes I can match, except I've got nodes? I don't know, from, what's that movie? Oh my gosh, the singing movie. I love that movie. It doesn't matter, you know what it is. Now, Anna Kendrick, is that her name? She starred in it. Anyway, there's so much pressure. The reason I don't wear makeup, let me tell you, it's because when I was young, there was this gorgeous girl. I can't think of her name, but she wore this amazing fuchsia lipstick. It's like, and then one day she didn't wear it. And this is like 8th, 9th grade. And it was bad. It was bad. And then fast forward. Oh, so then the other piece is sleep. I loved sleep. I loved it. And I would rather get 5 more, 10, 15, 20 more minutes of sleep than put a whole bunch of stuff on my face, right? So, at least that's the story. Yeah. And then, fast forward 21. Women and men would, from my church, we would get together sometimes early in the morning, like sunrise. Not a service, but like we'd go to the beach and pray and stuff like that, sing. And it would be early, right? Because you got to catch the sun before it rises. And so wake up, brush my teeth, go, right? And so did the other women. And they didn't take the extra time that they typically did in their day to put on, apply the makeup, the foundation, etc. And then it was like, because you're so used to, that made up face. And so I was like, I would rather surprise somebody by looking better than surprise them by looking like not better. And yep. And the resistance in me to beautify was secured. That said, I did get my eyebrows done, waxed, all that stuff. And then, I don't know, around 2008, 9, I stopped, and it was amazing. Like, I just didn't care anymore. And I felt so secure because I wasn't worried. I wasn't constantly looking in the mirror at the flaws, at, needing to pluck 20 hairs from each side. And with that confidence, definitely there was some boosted attraction, meaning I believe I became more attractive to other people just because of how I carried myself, until I went to an Alicia Keys concert with friends, took a photo with my best friend who posted that thing right at her desk. We worked together. And I saw it. And I was like, back to the shop I go. Back to the salon. Yeah. And so here I am with my eyebrows not done. It's been several weeks. And insecurity rises up. But I'm here anyway, even though my eyebrows are not, just perfectly shaped. Or, I don't know, neutralized might be a better word. My lips are super chapped. Okay, so my poem. I said that there was a fear that my gifts, because maybe they're not so great, wouldn't survive the fire's test, and that is meaningful, written, about 5.5 years ago, because earlier this year I did a session with Rachel, and I wound up writing a new poem. I do a lot of Phoenix Rising type things. I don't know, is it the survivor in me, the person who thrives despite the odds or the attempts to contain me. So I'm going to just share about that. So she encouraged me to do a mind map, and that's brainstorming, ultimately. You could pick a topic, and you brainstorm, you write it all down, and then you go back to the page and you pull out things that maybe are triggering or give you a little, oomph or nudge, and then you take one or more of those words, start a new page. Excuse me for the burp. Involuntarily burping. It's so low class. All right. Sorry. That's a conversation I had with somebody else that I just did in my brain out loud to you. Okay. So she asked me to start a worrying mind map, to go ahead and catastrophize, to, put all the concerns down. And she said, it's like, okay, like be a worry wart. And I told her, and I'm reading my notes right now. I told her I was scared to do the exercise for fear of what I fear becoming a reality, which is based on, the concept is found in, it's found in a Bible verse in Job. So, I went a little deeper to the thing that I was fearing, which I'm not going to discuss right now. But I said that I was worried that I'll get stuck in the catastrophizing and I won't know what the next step is. So she indicated that by doing it consciously, it soothes and neutralizes the fear. And pretending to not be afraid doesn't mean we're not afraid. The more fear gets converted to hope and courage is good. And so you can do that through this exercise. So she said, I'm afraid. I'm afraid. So I couldn't capture everything. I'm just going to read this. I'm afraid. I'm not living in that fear. And these are things that she's saying. If I'm going to hell because my mind and body generated fear, sign me up. My system is designed to report fear. She also said the exercise may not be right for you, but she encouraged me to make my own peace with fear. And she says that she lets her body do what the heck it does. She wants to remove the idea that just because you're not walking beside the fear, that you don't have it. Rather, be conscious and hold and embrace than for it to be in a basement without awareness, taking away control. So there's a choice. Where do you want to stand? Because the fear is there. So she talked about cleansing fire and invited me to step into the fire to say, she said that the fire is on my team and we don't abandon ourselves, hurt ourselves, and expect to be healthy. We pull ourselves together, we create unity, and we grab the parts that are terrified and soothe and rock and support them. And perhaps listing out the worries would bring it to the conscious level. And if you can get to the symptoms of that worry, tap and be in the fire. We're allowing them to exist. We're valuing them, the messages they hold. We're giving them a VIP escort. No, don't sit here. Let's keep walking. You get a place of honor, front row seat. And then fear vibration, matching vibration. I don't know what that was, but build something like a healing space where they can be honored, healed, supported. And then where your mind and body know it's being supported and healed. So I then did this stream of consciousness writing, which turned out into a poem that I'm going to share. And so I wrote, "Let's do this eyes closed." And then I just set my fingers and started typing a breath. Breathe in, out, breathing, getting centered, stepping into the fire, cleansing fire. I am a phoenix. I am the fire. I am healed, all that I desire. I am whole as I sit in the fire. I am aware of every ember rising higher. I am the flame burning so bright. I am the vision. I am the sight. I call forth my healing. I call forth praise due me. I call forth the treasure. All is born through me. I stand with the feelings. I hold each of their hands. I invite them to hear me. I invite them to stand. Stand with me, you're safe. Stand with me, you're heard. Stand with me, you're brave. Stand with me, deserved. You deserve the acknowledgement. You deserve the acclaim. You deserve the intention of being called on by name. There's no need to hide, no reason for shame. You are perfectly beautiful, perfectly sane. You are healed, healed by immense pain. You were counted out, but you overcame. You are my lyrics. You are my song. Nothing about you could ever be wrong. Raise your head. Do not drop down to nothing. Raise your voice. You are more than something. You are everything. Join me. Integrate. Be seen. You are everything. Join me. Believe in me. Sing. Believe my praise. Show your face. Feel my comfort. Feel my grace. Wrapping around you like a warm, safe hug. I want you to experience all of my love. As I work to honor, encourage, inspire, as I walk beside you in this fire. This is new for me, but we're in this together, side by side, enduring the weather. Never far removed, never separated, never disowned, never berated. I value your tone, no matter how off-putting. I value your silence, your oft frozen footing. I value your cries in anger and distress. I value your raging as you forwardly press. I value your tears wet like the rain. I value your worry. You are not insane. I value your eyes, what you see through your lens. I value your ears, what they hear, what they sense. I value your heart. It is absolutely wide open. I value your soul. It is whole, not broken. Breathe. See me in the flame. I call on you each by name. Terrified, yes, but not alone. With me and in me, you have a home. We are the phoenix. We dance as one. We are here in front of everyone. We are the phoenix, ablaze, emboldened. We are the phoenix, brave, beholden to no one. We embody the flames that we rise up from, a manifestation of glory as bright as the sun. We are here to stay. We are here to fly. We are here to slay. We are here to defy. We are here to pray. We are here to supply. We are here to save. We are here to satisfy. We are here. We are one. We are here, just begun. Pretty good. Pretty good. So that was a great exercise. I enjoyed it. I loved how the insecurity drew the inspiration, and that's who I am. So the splits, I mentioned that. So when I went out of town, I was reintroduced to an idea that I've heard about or read before. Just a second. Oh man, I need a chiropractic adjustment. When we are young, when we are born, how about that? When we're born, we come out crying. We come out cold. And then we are taken care of. Some better than others. We have different cries. Our communication is through that, right? And the people who care for us, our parents, our guardians, they learn what those cries are, typically, and they go through all of the things to make anything to make the crying stop, right? So they'll discover, oh, you might want some milk, hungry. Might want a blanket, you're cold. Might want a hug, you need comfort. And, then we continue to grow up and we develop language with words. But it's definitely, I'll just use the word elementary, We don't understand different nuances. We don't know how to articulate the moods, the vibrations, what we see. There's a great cartoon. I loved it. I think it was called Bobby's World. And it was, is it Wendell? Mandela? I don't know. Comedian. Oh, so good. Because everything is sort of like black and white and literal to children. If you say, don't pull my arm, or I'm going to pull your arm, or something like, they think that you mean literally pull their arm. That's an example. But in this time, when we don't fully have language, we discover, usually by the age of 7, there are splits that happen because of the discovery, because of the hurt that we feel from our primary caretakers. And splits occur, and it's not like split personality, but it's where we decide, or there is a need to put on a mask or to put on armor. And this all happens typically by the time you're 7, sometimes much sooner. It might be why some kids will say to their parents, "You don't love me." And we as parents can get offended. How dare you say that? Don't you dare say that. But they felt that in the moment. Those were the only words that they had. So the masks we put on could be people pleasing, could be striving for perfection, could be overperforming, because what is learned is, I'm not loved, I'm not safe, I'm not enough, I'm too much. I'm unlovable. I can trust no one. I'm only loved when I, fill in the blank. I'm not loved when I fill in the blank. Things like, don't talk unless you're spoken to, which was a way of the past. Children should be seen, not heard. A way of the past. Fix your face. As in, I can't handle the look of anger on your face, even though you're angry. And you should fix your face to make it more pleasing to my eyes, even though you have pain and hurt and feeling. And I used to say that to my kid, my firstborn, because I was super triggered. I was a different parent than my parents, and my parents weren't bad parents. But I found myself saying things that they said, doing things that they did that I never wanted to do because it was like ingrained, and at the trigger point, at the point of overwhelm, you do what you know, you say what you know. And it was many years later that I discovered a woman who talks about gentle parenting, responsive parenting. I can't think of her name, but she said that her daughter, who was probably 8 at the time, and I've probably talked about this in another episode, pardon the repeat, but also whatever, I'm just gonna go. Her daughter said, well, why can't my face match my emotions? And it was like a dagger, an arrow to my heart, and I swiftly had a conversation with JD to apologize for the times that I told him that. And therapy has helped me on my journey, but it has opened my eyes to things. And if I could redo how I did things with my eldest, I would in a heartbeat. I for sure was a reason, the cause of him having to mask or armor himself, and just things like fix your face, or when I was overwhelmed, telling him to, and he wouldn't stop, screaming, telling him to go to his room because I just couldn't. And then he'd be frozen, and I didn't understand that he was frozen in fear. That I'd make him go to his room, and so I'd put him alone instead of hold space for him. Or I was a child. I'm laughing because I was 34 when he was born. But I was a child in my understanding. Or I was reverted or regressing back to the child version of me who sometimes didn't have space held for her. I'll give you something to cry about. Stop crying. WT, you know what the next letter is. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What? What the Friday? I'm already crying. What do you mean you're going to give me something to cry about? That's some bull. But it's that person's trigger. They were not given space to have feelings, express feelings, understand what feelings are. And so in this lesson, the refresh, it was something I got emotional about, and I want to repair. I want to repair, and I want to show up differently, better, and I'm going to make mistakes. I am human, and to err is a right I own, but I don't want to live in the mistakes. I don't want to keep repeating mistakes. I want to learn from them, evolve. I am an evolution. Insecurities and inspiration. I am inspired by so many things, so many people. I am inspired by authenticity. I'm inspired by the different people with their just different special gifts. So I'm on Threads, and there's this one person, I've talked about it before, where she'll do a story, but with each of the threads, right? So it's like one of 10, one of 20, one of 3, whatever. She'll do some sort of like GIF, or is it GIF? GIF. And it's like, ooh, that's so good. I'm going to start doing that. Nope, I'm not going to start doing that because that's not my thing. That's her thing. And she's really good. And that's her gift. And, there are content creators out there who, they work hard. They bust their butt. It might seem like it's easy, looks easy. But they're so talented. That inspires me. It encourages me. When people find their thing, their niche, their niche. Artistry is inspirational. Other people showing up to help, right? Like volunteers. My mom volunteered for one of the bad hurricanes. I think it was Hurricane Andrew. And I think it was with her job through Northwest Airlines. She went down to Miami, South Florida, wherever it was. And she's a beautiful, special person who cares for the people. I miss her so much. It feels so wrong. It feels so wrong to not have her, to not bounce stuff off of her, to not hear her voice. To not see her with my kids. To not be able to just like curl up like with her, cry on her lap, have her stroke my hair. When I was on my trip, I did yoga, and they have you get into a fetal position. What's that called? I don't know. The original position that we're born. And I started crying, and I had this thought. I was the safest when I was inside of her womb, being cradled and loved by her as she refused caffeine or Tylenol or any stimulant or anything that could harm me, I was the safest, and I miss the security and the safety of her, and Thought about my babies. Safer inside my womb. Without the parental mistakes we make or the human ways that we err. Determined to continue the evolution, the evolving into a better mom, a better wife. Also, because that's an example for my sons and my daughter, potentially who they will attract, what they will look for, in a partner. There's this other thing on my trip. It was like a women's retreat, we'll say. A lot of discussion on femininity, tapping into your feminine power, breath work that elicited emotions and deep questions. And there was a word in my head earlier, trying to find it. Healing retreat, meditation. I'm so close to the word. What was the word? Release, detox. That's the word, I think. Detoxing. A lot of detoxing. We were asked by Shay, what is it that we desire? I'm sure there are other people like in the room that were married or dating. I think a lot of the women there were single. And we had an opportunity to share what it was that we desired. After the whole, lesson, if you will. But, so some people desired a relationship with their future romantic partner. They wanted to get married to, a good man. Who would be faithful and love their souls forever. For me, my desire was to have deeper intimacy with my husband. So not just sex, but a closeness, deeper friendship. And then the question was posed, why don't you have what it is that you desire? And let me say this other part. There's nothing wrong with having a desire. She explained desire, when you break down that word, the D-E is of, and the S-I-R-E, sire, is father. So it's of the father. The things that you love, the things that you desire are things that are for you. It's for you to have by design. The things that you're good at is by design for you. So whatever it is that you want, whatever it is, take out the stuff that shouldn't belong in that list. But anyway, so again, the question was, why don't you have what you desire? And I was struck with the realization that I don't have the deeper intimacy because I'm not always safe for my husband. And it did bring out tears, but it was good. And I came home and talked to him about that, and I apologized. Even last night I apologized because he was sharing something with me and I was so quick to add my $2 worth of knowledge, and experiential wisdom. And there was a shift in him, and he was working it out himself. But we talked about it, and so I apologize for ultimately making it about me in that moment, not holding space for just him being able to articulate what he was sharing without my input. And he quickly forgave me. Thank you. So how am I not safe sometimes? Critiquing, judging, expectations. High and unyielding expectations. Expecting him to operate like me. Expecting him to be as efficient as I am. Why are you? Why wouldn't you take the trash bag from the kitchen to the garage with you when you know you're going to the garage already? Why would you go to the garage to do the stuff there, then come back to the kitchen to then grab the bag to then go back to the garage? You could have just had one trip. Why am I so obsessed with him taking less steps? Why do men want to take all of the steps? Why, when they go to the grocery store, do they park the furthest away? I am an external processor. This guy, I follow, Jimmy on relationships. I like him. He does, he puts himself in a wig, to be, to showcase the woman's side. And there was one where the woman, him in a wig, was the external processor, and the guy without the wig was the internal processor, the thinker, and that's who my husband is. Why do they marry each other? For growth, for evolving, for love. So my husband is a thinker. He's a deep thinker, and he reflects, and he sifts through all of the things, and I'm like, get it out, because once it's out, it's out. So the sun is really, whoa. I'm frowning at my hair. I have not gotten a relaxer in a while, and I may not get one. Let me just stay on track. I desire to be a better partner for my husband, who's such a good man to me, for me. I desire to be a safe place for him, to be able to express his dreams and his fears, his desires, his wants, his frustrations without me immediately reframing it, beautifying it, positivitizing it. Positivitizing? Trademark! I said it first. It's November 8th. I trademark everything in this podcast video episode number 32, I think. I have amazing people in my life. who provide support, give amazing sage advice, wisdom from their experiential living and the mistakes that they've made and overcome. And I was thinking about one of those people, and I'm trying to think specifically what the advice was or the thought was. We have biases, right? All different kinds of biases. Sometimes gender biases, the expectations of what a woman should do, was born to do, built to do, what a man was born to do, built to do, should not do. Cultural influences. And for me, men were defined by themselves as these strong, people, and they are strong, physically strong. Oftentimes not emotionally strong. Oftentimes being told the lie, boys don't cry, men don't cry. Yes, they do. And yes, they should. So that they are not, emotionally constipated people who blow up and who have anger and whatever other large emotion just simmering, boiling really under the surface. But certain expectations that I have of mankind, of men, and buck up against the stuff that doesn't look like that. Buck up is a strong word, but I show up for my children differently. I make room for their mistakes, their language, their emotions, and therefore I'm capable of doing the same for my husband, to be patient. When we got married, I was a single mom. My son was 3 years old and 3 weeks. And about a week after I got married, a sister pulled me aside. She too had been a single mom. Her daughter was older when she got married, and they have since had 3 kids together. But she set me aside on purpose so that I would not make the same mistakes as she did in parenting, and co-parenting rather, with a spouse who wasn't the biological father, right? And I really appreciated that she did that. And one of the things that she said was, let him make mistakes. And I'm like, but why? I mean, why? Why can't he just learn from me? The audacity. Yeah, but for real, why can't he just? So wrong, so naive, so whatever. Insecurities, inspiration. What inspires you? What insecurities do you hold? Do you embrace them? Do you hold the hand of your insecurity and give it a spotlight, give it a place of honor? Hold its hand, hug it. Make room for its voice. Make room for the emotions that it evokes in you. Can you do that? Will you do that? Will you take your inspiration and create with it? Or will you hide it? Will you put it on a shelf up too high to reach, or bury it with a promise to return but no marker to find it? Will you give yourself permission to be just as you are? To love yourself just as you are? That is my invitation to you. And I want to say thank you for joining me, for sharing this time. It's, like I'm out here by myself, but I feel like I'm absolutely doing this for you. And it's like we're already together. And so I am holding your hand. Let's walk through the fire, the refining fire. Let's show up as phoenixes on the other side, arisen. Let me hold your hand. Let me cradle your face. Let me tell you how inspiring you are. Like, you inspired this podcast. Let me tell you how beautiful you are, how worthy you are, how loving and kind you are, how determined you are, how resilient you are, how perfectly you are. There's no one quite like you. You deserve to be here. You are here. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find enjoyment in this life. I hope you make a life worthy of you. I hope you choose to be a participating player. Not the sidekick, not the unscripted, I don't know, whatever. You're following my analogies, right? Show up, be bold, be beautiful, be ugly, cry ugly. I'm sure that was not a pretty cry earlier. Share with me your thoughts. What did this pull from you? Did it remind you of a wound? Did it remind you of great advice you got? Did it remind you how strong you are, how much you've overcome? Did it remind you what you want to do, who you want to be? Tell me. Tell the world. Tell the world who you are. Show the world who you are. Be who you are. Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I've got. Thank you again. And as always, and I hope this video actually works. It's a lot of pouring out of my heart and my tears. Hope it works. Until next time, I remain unapologetically yours.